Right, test mic, test mic. All right, good morning everyone. It's March 22, 2024, 9:18 in the morning. Happy Friday. So we are just looking at what SPY is doing. It's a good day to be a day trader. SPY is at 522.14 today. We don't really have a big news ongoing for today, so we do have to consider that. And SPY had been an all-time high. It is at 524 or 523.91 today and having a little bit of a pullback. So almost flat, just down by 0.01% or 0.06 cents, which is really nothing for SPY. And SPY had a really good run since, let's see, what day was this? 2023 of October. So for our long-term investors, yeah, kudos to you guys. This one was a very good run for the SPY. All right, so we are watching a couple of stocks today. Let's see, for those of you guys who's asking on how I set up my 4 screens, I think I've shown this one in the past, but 4 screens looks like this. So I have my gap up on the right side and a gap down on the left upper screen. I do have so this is how my setup looks like. So for me, 4 screens is more than enough. So I haven't upgraded any of my computer. It's always been just 4 screens. 4 screens for me is totally fine. I still can put my OBS studio on the end or in that right lower corner and still able to stream. So 4 screens. This one is my left upper one is a gap down, right upper is my gap up, and then my montage is on the left lower with my scanner on the right screen, right lower screen. So with that, yeah, I think 4 screen is more than enough. So for today, going back to the SPY is all-time high. And let's see if today is going to be one of those days that we're going to have a pullback. So we are watching a couple of stocks today. Our gap up is FDX. So FedEx here. Let's see if we have a news. Looks like we do have some earnings. And by earnings, let's see here. FedEx announces 5 billion stock buyback. So it's a buyback. Very positive for the stock. If you notice, I don't really dive deep to the news per se because I am a technical trader. So I base my trade. If there's a good news, that is a catalyst. That's enough information for me to do and to research on. But I look at the technical levels. So the pre-market high here is at 300.14 with a pre-market low that is currently at this level around 290.07. So let me make this screen bigger so it's clear for everyone. All right, so yeah, FedEx buyback, very good news. So when I'm doing my pre-market level, I would like to see a higher time frame. So higher time frame here consists of, let's see, the daily and our 15 minutes. Let me just put my Epic pen right here so it's not in the way. And let's see here if I can make some of the lines here even clearer. All right, so that is FedEx. Next one is another gap up is Baidu, BIDU. So we're watching BIDU closely today. Daily, it is a nice gap up. Yesterday, it closed at 101.7, and then now it's up by 4.3% or $4.37. Looks like the big move happened at this time, 8:15, with a gap up there. High of the pre-market is at 108.67 with the low at the S4, 100.25. So a big move right here just during the pre-market. So that is Baidu. Next one is Nova. Nova or NOVA. NOVA is, let's see, not really familiar with this stock, but it's not a low float stock. It is 106 million currently being traded, less than a million shares here. So for us to trade this stock, we need to wait for more volume to come in before playing this stock, but otherwise we can put in our level. So pre-market low is at 5.75 with a pre-market high of 6.27. All right, so that is our Nova right there. Daily, yesterday looks like we have a very big volume that came, 25 million. So for this one, to have that follow through, we would need to have at least, a million shares, or at least close to yesterday's volume. Right now, we don't have that. So let's wait for that. Apple is almost flat here. Apple is just up by 78 cents. Not a lot for Apple. Pre-market low is at 170.96 with a pre-market high of 172.54. Yesterday had a big pullback from 177 all the way to 170. And right now we are just almost close to that bottom, close to that support. So an inside bar. LAAB, it is, let's see here, not a lot of volume here. It is up by 2.2%, but not having a volume, it's not tradable. So basically what we're doing is we're looking for our watch list. We're going over our scanner, and then once we go over the scanner, we look at our daily, our 15 minutes, and see which has the most gap up, which has the most gap down. If you're planning to do a range bound trade, then those are the inside bar kind of trade where the current price is inside the previous candlestick. Looking at the daily. Right now, Rivian, I'm just looking at this one, less than a million shares. Currently being traded, not a lot of volume, but I like seeing Rivian. Rivian had been active for a couple of days, so but not tradable at this point because of lack of volume. Next one, OTLK. OTLK is a low float stock, so we have to be very careful with it. With this, it's a float of 7 million. So very low float here, so we have to be careful. So this one, I'm just going to be watching this. Pre-market low is at 7.48 with a pre-market high of 11.3. The daily here, look at this wick right here. If you are in the wrong position, wrong side, then this is just enough for you to get your account get wiped out. So be very careful with this. Next one, Amazon, not really trading, not tradable. Look at the volume, 268 only. So not even worth putting our levels for today. RDDT is a gap down by 3.7%. And okay, looks like it just had that IPO today because I cannot go back on any other candlestick. So with this, I don't have any levels. I won't be trading RDDT. Next one is Nike. Nike is a gap down by 6.5%. Just looking at the daily, looks very interesting already. Look at this daily right here. So we do have yesterday close to 100.87 and then a nice gap down all the way to 94.11. So pre-market low, we are testing that support a couple of times. I won't be surprised at the open if that support is broken and we form an opening range breakdown. So that is Nike. Next one is Tesla. Tesla had been beaten down for a couple of days, couple of weeks now. Let's see. 3.9 million actively being traded. This is a float of 2.7 billion. Pre-market low is at 165.40 with a pre-market high of 173.44. So with Tesla, we are currently at, let's see, 166. So a nice gap down there. We do have a support at 165.41. Next support here is the body of this candlestick, which we can place. And then after that, we have 160.89. Looks like a bunch of EV stocks are having a little bit of a pullback. That includes Rivian as well as Tesla. So we do have to consider that one. So next one, it's less than a minute before the market open. And next one is crypto stocks. 254.27 pre-market low, pre-market high 266.5, and then SOUN down by 7.2%. Low float, it's not a low float, it's a float of 195 million. So pre-market low with a pre-market high all the way up here. Let's look at the daily. Daily looks like it's just due for a pullback. Mara having a little bit of a pullback as well, just like our coin, which is the same sector as the cryptos. Roku, just looking at this one, 5 seconds before the market open. So same strategy, will be on the sideline and wait for our setup. SE having a nice pullback here. All right, so market is now open. And let's look at the SPY. SPY having a very nice pullback right here. We open right there at the low of this body. So now that we do have our levels, it's time to just wait for the setup. For the Amazon, what I'm actually going to be watching is AMD. AMD had already had that pullback a couple of days ago, and AMD, one of the microchips, had an all-time high of 226, and then after that had a pullback. So with this one, pre-market low is at 177 with a pre-market high of 179. So with this one, we opened below that wick from yesterday, and let's see if this is just gonna test this resistance right here at 178.69. Okay. So no open positions yet. Let's wait what SPY is gonna be doing. All right, SPY just flat, 0.02%. So no open positions yet. Nike is the one that had a gap down. We were talking about having that support to be broken, and it did follow our thesis, which is gonna form an opening range breakdown. So it did broke that support 93.62 all the way to 92.25. So that in itself is already a more than $1 move. So that's Nike. What is Tesla doing? Tesla, a bunch of support right there. Coin testing the low of that wick from yesterday. And SE, not a lot of volume here. FedEx, the one that had gap up significantly today, the most gap up today, 7.5%. And we are going to adjust the pre-market low because that is the pre-market low there. We were watching a different stock. That's why we did not get to update that pre-market low. So now this one also formed an opening range breakdown. So 286.09, strong support, and now that support is broken. What I'm looking at here at FDX is a 9 EMA, a VWAP play where the VWAP is acting as a strong support and then it bounces off the VWAP, or a pullback in the 9 EMA, and then from a 9 EMA, when it touched that, then there's a bounce. So those kind of play is the one that I'm waiting for. Baidu here, look at this one, falling like a rock. So open at 108, and then now this level right here, where did we put this level? We did place a level at 103 point. So we do have that support right there, 103.1. Couple of touches there in Baidu. Nova pullback as well, 6.4% gap up. Okay, lots of pullback. Nike, the strategy that we're waiting for is a VWAP play, a 9 EMA, where it pulled back to the 9 EMA, shows us some signs of weakness, and then we short it from there. So it's same setup that we get to wait, we get to do all over again. Look at this one, having that strong resistance from that yesterday's wick. SOUN, not a low float stock. Nothing really interesting yet. Okay, FDX here. Look at this gap, 265 to 290. So we are gapping by almost $25 there. You have to be careful with the spread here. We're talking about at least 30-cent spread. So that's the reason, one of the reasons why it's going to be a hard stock to trade, because of that wide spread. Baidu already have that nice pullback. Look at that V reversal that happened. And then Nova. So Nova, I'm looking at Nova for a gap fill, where it's going to fill the gap at 5.75. All right, AMD. Look at this wick right here. It's just not going to be tradable. We are at the VWAP right here, but we are heading to a strong resistance right there, 178.74. So let's put that. So we have a resistance right there. That's yesterday's body of that red candlestick. Nike here. Nike already showing us some signs of weakness. So we are at the VWAP. So far, Nike is the one that's looking good for a short. But this one is a wick, another wick right here. Let's see whether it's going to test the high of the day, or it's going to give us a signal for a short. So what I'm looking at is VPA, volume price analysis, is the one that we're looking at here, as well as some anomaly. I switched to a lower time frame just so I get to see if there's a spike of volume coming up when it's pushing up, or spike of volume when it's pushing down. Silence the volume, or silence the noise with a 2 minutes time frame. Another rejection there at the VWAP. Thinking of shorting this one, but with a small position. All right, entering short Nike, small position. This one, good entry here, could have been at 93, but yeah, it just went so quick. So just a small position there at Nike with a stop loss of, let's see, since it's just a small position, waiting for Nike to test a little bit, go up a bit close to the VWAP so I can add to this. $98.81. Let's see if I can add to this position. We have to be careful with the adding as well, because once we go above the VWAP, then that is going to be bullish now. So looking at the VWAP here, VWAP is at 93.10, so 93.020. Okay, so now we are above the VWAP. So let's see here if this thesis is valid or not. We are closing this position at 93.84. So 93.84 is the stop loss, giving it 0.01 cents. So 93.85. All right, so all out there, waiting for another signal of weakness with Nike. So let's see here, we did had a rejection at 93.84, and of course that is my stop loss. I just got filled here. So let's look at the lower time frame. Not a lot of volume here with that pushed, but we are testing the high of the day, so we're gonna, let's see, high of the day is 93.97. Do we have a big volume sitting at the ask here. Okay, first anomaly here. Look at this big candlestick, not a lot of volume. So first anomaly, volume bar is dying here. Okay, re-entering here to the long side. Added to my position. Stop loss here is the high of the day. So let's see here. Volume bar is depleting here when we were pushing up. We have to look at the higher time frame as well. Higher time frame, this one is basically just an inside bar, so it can still go in any direction. So stop loss is the high of the day. We have to consider as well that Nike had moved significantly. Look at this huge gap. So that play of, is it time for it to fill the gap first, can also be can also happen. So we have to consider that. Waiting for a little bit of a pop so I can add to that short. Okay, I added to my position for the short, a little aggressive there. We do have to be careful with this because it is a spread of at least 0.05 cents. And it's very choppy as well. Look at the movement there, 93.11. So stop loss here, just lowering down the risk, is going to be 93.83. Wanted to add more to that position, but having that VWAP bounce, it's still risky to add to that position. 93.20. There's no imbalance at the bid and the ask. So with no imbalance, there is one right here at 94, which is very bullish there. But let's see if that one is just there and just gonna be canceled, because we are now at the VWAP. All right, just broke the VWAP right there. So the thing that I am concerned of this is that VWAP is acting as a strong support. Look at that one, VWAP acting as a strong support again. But now we're lower the VWAP. that strong support right there, which is 93.11. We have touched that level couple of times from those 5 minutes. Okay, so now we broke VWAP. Now hindsight is I could have added more, but I did had 2 adds here, restarted my position, and then 2 adds here. We are below the VWAP, so we'll give this one some room. Very choppy still, 92.8. Let's look at our higher time frame. Next support there is 92.6. 92.6. Very wicky, so be very careful with this. $92.8 acted as a strong support here. We are below the VWAP, just still consolidating, looking at our volume priced analysis here. We do have a doji that can easily just go above the VWAP. VWAP failed, 93.13. Testing the VWAP again. Big order sitting right here at 93. Waiting for another fail at the VWAP. 93.13. So the resistance here is 93.13. If we go above 93.13, around 93.15, then I will be closing that position for a profit still, just because, let's see, this first trade right here with a small position was a loss. So now I am having a paper hand. So 93.1213, where I'm looking at the tape right here. We keep going into 93. All right. 15, big rejection again. So that's why you have to pay attention to the tape. Tape now is 93.09. We have 10, 05, 02. That 13 keeps on getting rejected based from the tape. So 93.06. SPY is also having a pullback. So that can help as well. We just saw 93 broken with the print right here. We're now at 92. So 92.8, 92.90. We're back in that 93. 93 acting as a strong support. 92.95. Just consolidating, higher high right here or higher low in the 5 minutes. We're waiting for the support to be broken. 92.76. SPY is pulling back. That's going to help this trade. So this one looking good. 92.80. 82. Waiting for that support to be broken and to take some partial as well. SPY still pulling back. 92.81. Let's see here. SPY reached the S3. Okay, took some partial there. And waiting for a bigger move. I just needed to take that partial because of this red trade right here, but now we are into the greens. So now I'm lowering down my stop loss, lower down my break even, so I don't turn this one into a losing trade. So now I am not risking any of my capital. So took some partial here, and now stop loss is below the VWAP. While I'm waiting for this one to do what it wants to do, looking for any stocks that is going to give us the move. SPY having a nice pullback, but not a lot though. So SPY only had a little bit of a pullback, which is 0.11%, and that's not a lot. But with that pullback, I'm looking for a stock that had a bigger pullback as well, and possible for a long for that stock. All right, let's look at this one. Look at the momentum right here. We have a little bit of a higher volume when we're pushing up. Momentum for this one to go up is there. So resistance here is 93.17, with our stop loss giving that couple of cents above that strong resistance. All right, so next one is, I'm waiting for a drop here, a bigger drop. Otherwise, it's just going to be a small green trade. Did SE give us a volume yet? No volume here, so not tradable. We're still below the VWAP here, but this is one of those stocks that's a bit harder or challenging to trade, because look at this one. We are just in that range, basically. We are in that 93.75, 92.76 range. So it still is a dollar range. So there you go. That is the support that we're waiting for, and looking for that 92.6. Great. Was supposed to take partial, but I pressed the sell button, so it actually added to my position, so lowering down my stop loss now, just lower than my break even. So now stop loss is getting aggressive. I do have there is a bunch of orders at the bid right here that is very bearish, but just still very weaky. The good partial here. Okay, so all out in that trade, small green trade. Could have managed that better if this one was not adding to that short, but a coverage. But yeah, this one is still heading lower. Okay, so now this is going to break that support, because the momentum there, look at the volume bar right here, is there. There's just no edge in shorting is this one now, because it's too far from the VWAP. This is the move that I was waiting for. All right, so that's totally fine. Let's look at Apple. Apple here is starting to get interesting for me because of this, and we are gonna take long Apple. All right, taking long Apple. What I saw here is the 5 minutes. We have a good support right here at the daily. Daily as a support. We did see a bounce from that support, and that's the reason why we have this almost hammer doji looking. So entry is not the best. Best entry here could have been at 170.46, but we were in the middle of that trade in Nike, which is now still heading lower. So Nike could have been a one and done trade, but it's okay. We still have a couple of stocks here that we can watch, that we can trade. Okay, thing that I am watching here is, look at this big volume bar when we're pushing down, as well as the small volume bar when we're pushing up. I am long, so I have to consider that the momentum here to go up is not there yet. So thinking of, do I still keep my stop loss way below that body with that high wick at 170.6, or just have that stop loss at 170.42? That was a huge surge of buyers that pushed through, and right now there's no reason to exit this trade. We just saw some surge of buyers that pushed through. I do have that analysis earlier prior to having that surge of buyers, but now surge of buyers went through, and this trade right here is looking good. All right, sound. I don't want to long this, because unlike Apple, this is a gap down. Apple is a gap up earlier, or not a big gap up, but an inside bar. but comparing it to SOUN, SOUN is a gap down, so you don't want to be against the flow, and Nike here is breaking that big support. So yeah, we were able to trade Nike. We were green on this Nike move, but because of this first red trade, we were not able to capture the whole move, which is fine. It's always is going to be the case. We are at the VWAP in Apple. Look at the surge of volume right here. That's almost 500,000. And look at what SPY is doing. SPY had a push up as well. We are encountering that resistance right there, the low of yesterday. So we have to take that into consideration. But we did time Apple very nicely here. So now time to protect our profit and move our stop loss above our break even. And my Norton needs to restart my computer. Not yet. All right, so we are at the VWAP. VWAP is going to be a strong resistance there, what I'm looking for. SPY already broke the VWAP, so that's good. That's going to help our Apple trade here to break that VWAP higher as well. There you go. So I just have my stop loss behind it, and this one is looking good. So a lot of movers. Our FedEx, we're waiting for a VWAP play here where it's gonna show us a sign of strength at the VWAP, and it's gonna have that push so we can take it long. Baidu here. I don't like the daily for Baidu. It's just not a clean move right there. All right, so Apple, I just have my stop loss behind that, and this one looks pretty good. Nike here eventually broke, but we got stopped out. And with Apple, I don't have a big position, so I'm just trailing my stop there. Look at the 5 minutes. 5 minutes was already a big chunk of move there. Look at this move from 170.45 to 171.23. So stop loss is behind that candlestick just to protect the profit. AMD here looking nicely as well. So AMD for me here is going to be a long trade. Best entry is at 176.08. So we are late by around 20 cents. But nonetheless, it still is looking bullish. Let's see here. What is the next resistance? Next resistance is this 177.6. All right, Apple stopped me out, but we were able to capture that move. Next one, AMD. AMD stop loss here, since my entry is not the best, is going to be at 175.4. So far, all two trades are green. I'm willing to give this couple of cents, 175.70. So 0.04. Little bit of giving it some allowance, so market maker is just not gonna get me stop out with that very, very obvious stop loss. So Nike, look at this Nike. This could have been a one and done. We traded this one. We were green, but we leave a lot of money in the table. Apple right here, we were able to ride. AMD right here, struggling at that level. Let's see if I was able to go in at 176 here, I could have added a bigger position. So volume bar is dying. SPY is still above the VWAP. Thinking of adding to this position at that pullback. So I added to my position at that pullback right there, a little bit aggressive add. So that pullback right there with a stop loss at 175.70. All right, FedEx, this is the one that we're waiting for, a VWAP play. Look at this one. You do have inside bar. This could have been a good long 285, but very high price stock as well. So I don't want our capital to get tied there. So let's stick with the AMD here. AMD though, with the daily, we do have to consider this one. Daily is looking weak. So 15 minutes, we did encounter that S3 right there. Is it going to act as a strong support? We don't really know. Big order 76 there. So that's the reason why we're having that big pullback. Now that support and that orders were filled, is that good enough for us to have the buyer step in? So stop loss is 175.70. And let's see if we're gonna get there. So 175.70. Right now the prints are 175.02. So we're still at 175 to what, almost like 20 cents before getting stop out here. That's a big volume bar right there. Let's see if buyers is gonna step in. This is actually a good place to add if there are factors that can give us the support that this is actually pushing up. Look at Nike here. This could have been a one and done. All right. Now we have to consider Apple is having a pullback. And AMD, very close to getting stop out here, 75.90. So almost like 20 cents to getting stop out. $95.96. So we do have that support, 175.95 as a support. Now we're at 176. Still not a lot of volume, but we are at 176.03. SPY, surprisingly, is still pushing up. So that's going to help this trade right here. We're waiting for that resistance, 176.45, because we have touched that 176.45 couple of times here. So we're waiting for that resistance to be broken and for this to shoot up. Nike is still heading lower, so that one is yeah, very painful to watch because we left a lot of money in the table in Nike. All right, so let's do some analysis here. FedEx, look at this one. You're saying an entry to 285, 286. That still is. All right, AMD here had, okay, so you have volume bar, the step in. This volume bar is irrelevant. This volume bar is so tiny compared to the rest, to the high of this volume bar, that this one is irrelevant. Big order sitting right here, 76.15. Did we get filled at 76.15? There's some order sitting right here, 76.15. SPY is at the VWAP. Let's see if this is gonna step us out. Our 15 minutes doesn't look too good. 15 minutes is still at that S3. So very close to getting stop out here with AMD. Wow, search a buyer step in. Could have been a good place to add. Apple as well is pushing up now. So that's gonna help this trade. And then even SPY is pushing higher. So that's gonna help our AMD trade here. Let's see. We do have to consider that AMD has a support right here, 174. That it can just get tested anytime. So here, since I did not have the best entry, I cannot add to my position here. But every time it touched that support, 175.74, we do get a bounce. And this is the reason why I was saying earlier, I'm willing to give 0.04 cents on top of my stop loss, because look at how once you put in a very obvious stop loss, 175.74, market maker is going to be out there to get your position. So it touched 175.74. So if we did not put that allowance to have the stop loss at 175.70, then we should have not been into this trade already, and we could have just been stop out when it still has the potential for the move higher. So that's the reason why having a 0.04 is nothing really a big chunk of risk comparing to market maker just getting you stop out and not capturing the bigger move. All right, SPY just stuck in that 522.07. Apple right here, nice pullback, but now is having that continuation. AMD, what I can notice with AMD though is, yeah, we are not seeing what we've been seeing from a couple of days where there are surge of buyers stepping in. So the next support here is at 174.3. That can pretty much get tested today. See at the 15. 15, you have higher low. Let's just turn off the pre-market here since our level is there anyway. All right, so let's observe what AMD is doing compared to SPY. SPY is surging up. AMD is still stuck in this range. We have a big order at the bid right here that just, let's see, still there. So with this kind of trade, the longer it takes for this to consolidate, the lower probability that it can have that surge up. Apple already had another leg up, so we also left big money in the table here, and our AMD is just struggling here, retesting again that resistance 176.51. If we find another rejection there, then most likely AMD is just not ready for a push up yet. Apple having another leg up. Another rejection there at that resistance. But we are now at that moving average. So just trying to be very patient with this. Wow, Apple had another leg up. Baidu. Look at this Baidu. This is the reason why I don't trust this one. Had a big up and then just went all the way down. Now this is getting interesting. Getting interesting because it had moved. It literally just wiped all its, let's see. So from a gap up of all the way to 105 and then now 101, $4 there. I'll be interested in looking at Baidu once it touched this support right here. 101, which is this level, 101.69. That will be a potential for a long for Baidu. Just gonna take a seat here so I can enjoy my coffee. All right, so AMD struggling again. Another rejection here. And 67. Buyer step in here. So 74. Buyer still stepped in. 75.81. So we're ready to cover this one if this one gives us okay. So all out AMD there. AMD is not ready yet. So yeah, we just went out AMD. This is just weak. So we are red AMD, but look at this. It still is like heading lower. So let's see what AMD is gonna do once it touch 174.01. It's gonna be retesting the low of the day. That was a big volume bar that surged up right there. Could also be a sign where sellers are they getting exhausted by having a little bit of a pullback. Still a bunch of orders sitting right here at the bid. This one is still not done, heading lower. No imbalance right here, so that can just consolidate for now. Big volume bar right here at the 1 minute, comparing from the rests. All right, testing the support, breaking that support. That's the reason why you don't want to be in front of that falling knife. And that's the reason why we close our position here. We can always go in. There's still a bunch of orders sitting at the bid. Still heading lower. Next support is this wick right here. 174. Where is that 174? That's the next support right there. Still heading lower. Nike. Big order right here, 175. What is that? 175. Next destination. This is gonna fall like a waterfall. Let's look at this one. 175. Where did it go? There you go, 175. Let's look at that once it gets printed right here. 175.11. Big order right here. This is just gonna flush down to 175. Trying to have that support. 175.2. Still there. So that's very bearish. They're waiting. Those buyers are waiting to get filled down there. They're not aggressive. They know something that this one is gonna go to their priced point rather than hitting the ask to buy. So 75.30. Now we have orders. This is a big order right here. 75.46. 75 is still there. SPY is at the VWAP. All right, 175 heading there now. Let's see. Once it heads head down to 175, they're trying to, okay, it's heading down to 175. Then that can create a strong support. They are trying to have this at 175. Someone is supporting it at 175.16. 17 now. 20. 175 is still there. We are below that support now. Just waiting for a flush to 175. Come on. SPY having a very high volume bar in the 1 minute. And that one was a push down. So this can be a laggard. So this can be that 175.0 move. All right, 30. Now, okay, now we're heading the other direction. All right, so entering long here. See this what is that? 100,000 shares to the upside. That is, we're heading to 175.50 here. That order at 175 is not there anymore. So that could have been just canceled. But this has a potential to go to 175.50 if this order is not canceled. So let's see, 75.38, order still sitting there. Added to my position. 175.50 still there. Added to my position, but that one was a very quick surge up. All right, so that's how you use your level 2. You have 100,000, and I think I'm gonna highlight that in this recording. You have 100,000 shares sitting right here, and that's the reason why it surged up to 175.50. So now the resistance here is 75.8. So we were able to build our position right here. Some resistance is happening. Nike getting interesting. Went to VWAP again, and then VWAP got a rejection there. Big rejection at 75.87. This is the reason why I like trading AMD. Look at the order flow, tape in the level 2. There's just those in the volume currently being traded is at 13 million. All right, big rejection there. Stop loss here is the low of the day. Support right here, 75.05. That's going to be our stop loss. Look at what Nike is doing. Rejection at the VWAP. No anomaly with the volume bar though. So let's just keep watching AMD. All right, AMD, this is another leg up. No imbalance at the bid and the ask. All right, SPY heading higher. So the clue that we got here was that 100,000 sitting right here earlier, and that's the reason why we went to go long in this trade. Now we have another order at 176, so this is gonna pop to 176 if that order is not canceled. Another consolidation here. We're waiting for the pop, 176. This order about to get filled. There you go, 176. We got the print. 176. Perfect. All right, so now this one is looking good. All right, 75. Okay, another resistance there. Big resistance at 176. AMD down by $2.67. Excellent. Take some partial now and let the rest run. Waiting for another pop. Excellent. Took another partial there. And the rest, we are trailing that stop. So our stop loss is behind that. I'm waiting for a pop to the VWAP, which is highly, most likely gonna go there. Come on, another rejection, 76, 76.20. This thing is gonna go there. Where's my stop loss? 15. It's a strong resistance there. All right, Apple still heading higher. Baidu is a piece of trash. Okay, Baidu went to that level that we wanted to take long, which is at 101.69. All right, AMD stop us out, but Baidu here, I would like to long this one if we were watching this one as a hawk at 101.69. We were at AMD and look at that. It already had that pop. That is already more than 30 cents. So, late. We're late. Nike was calling this one out, touched that VWAP, and then signs of weakness, and it is weak. So that could have been a good reshort right there. All right, so far all green for today. Apple, AMD, and Nike. And let's see if we are able to look for any other trades. AMD is still heading up. This OTLK. This is a float. Okay, this is the low float stock. This is the one that you don't want to touch. Look at the daily. Daily just looks nasty. Tesla looking weak here. Do we have the volume bar to support it? Big volume bar right here. The daily still looks like it still has a way up here to 172, so I don't want to short this. Although the 5 minutes looks like it's a good setup for a short. Look at the daily still has some room to go up, so not going to be shorting that one. AMD here, we went all out, but eventually touched the VWAP, so did not get to get everything there. SE, still not a lot of volume. Wow, look at this drop. It's a huge drop. Yeah, that's the thing about not having a lot of volume. If a big pocketed trader investor is there, they can just easily drop it, but that's why we did not touch it today. Not a lot of volume. Roku is the one that is on the range bound trade right now. Look at how range bound Roku is from R3 64.27 to 63.37. So not even dollars move there, but it's just going back and forth at R3S3. So this one is one of those pivot point play. Baidu here. Yeah, this one is just, let's see if it's, yeah, I don't like this one. It looks so highly manipulated. You get a pop, so you got 101.69 pop all the way up here, and then look at that big rejection. That's just not right. All right, Nike here. This is another opportunity for a short, but short would be if it's close to the VWAP. Now we have to consider that it's 10:22. We're heading to that time where it's just going to be a bunch of noise. So look at Tesla here. This is the reason why I was telling earlier, even if this one looks like a short, daily does not look like a short. daily still has some room to go up here. That's filling the gap all the way to 172, and highly likely that it will go there. SOUN, on the other hand, is looking weak here. Tested this high, so you have double top, 6.31. But this is a low price stock, not a low float, just a low price. AMD here, easy trade, could have been staying on that position. Let's see what Baidu's gonna do here. Do they really just gonna dump? What the? Look at this move. But Baidu had been having this move, 116, 109. That's nothing new for Baidu. Roku break, it broke that S3. So Roku broke the S3. So now creating new low of the day. Trying to see if there's any other trades that we can take. And so far I don't see any. All right, is this forming a 9 EMA? So the 5 minutes, it had been consolidating in that 9 moving average. So that's our 9 EMA play. I could have played this one to a 9 EMA if the daily doesn't look this crappy. The daily for me looks such a crappy daily that I don't even want to be involved with this stock. Look at this one. It's so crappy. The one that will make you a higher probability for a 9 EMA is you have a bunch of, candlestick here, a big gap up, but with this wick, it makes it not an A+ setup. So not going to be touching this. Tesla looks very enticing to the short now. But how much of that move or that pullback are you expecting? Higher risk. All right, Baidu here. Support that it encountered is below the body. Okay, again, let's see. Will risk very small here at Baidu, 5 minutes. This still has 4 minutes for this candlestick to close. $101.48 still has a bunch of orders at $101.25 though, which is at this level. Let's see. Look at how the order flow is. Not a lot of movement compared to AMD. SPY is having a pullback. AMD could have been a good short. I missed that boat though. 101.49. 47. Wow, this is still heading lower. Alright, SPY having a pullback, Tesla having a pullback as well. Baidu cannot decide what it wants to do with its life. Having a pullback as well. Baidu having that 101.4 as a support here with Baidu. So thinking of Baidu as a potential for a long, if that support, if it can hold that support, 101.50. So 101.50, we're holding that support. We do have 101.25 right here which is bearish. And SPY is back to S3. How about Roku? Roku is heading to S4. Okay, 101.60. All right, entering Baidu here, small position to the long side. Stop loss is the low of the day. 101.64. It is above. Wanted to add to that position, but it just... All right, so I did not get to add to that position. It moved very quickly. Strong resistance right there. Waiting for a little bit of a pullback close to where my entry is, so I can add to that position. If no pullback, then we're just gonna keep our initial position. AMD looks very strong. 101.8. Big rejection there. 101.8 with Baidu. 73. Volume. Look at this volume bar. This is just, oh my gosh. Okay, added to my position. A little bit aggressive to that add. The fear that I have here is that we just gonna get stuck with this not so exciting trade. But look at the move right here. 105.68 all the way down to 101.38. Break order at 102, so we're heading there. Next 102. What happened to that order? Roku. I'm waiting for Roku to touch S4. This is heading to 102. Ah, come on. It's killing me. Not a lot of volume there. Yeah, I just don't trust this stock. So I have my stop loss behind it. So I have my stop loss higher than my break even because how wiki this stock is. So I'm not risking any of my capital here. If this one stopped me out, then we're done for the day. But yeah, my average cost here is 101.7 with a stop loss of 101.74. So even if I get stop out, I will make a 0.04 profit per share for this. I just don't like that there's no follow through. It's so wiki. There you go. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Let's see if there's any other potential one. I'm very close to getting stop out here. Oh, come on. All right. So that stopped me out. All right, so a small, very small profit there with Baidu. Did not want to risk it. SPY having a pullback, last scan in the chart if there are any other trades. So this is the one that I was talking about of a 90 EMA trade, but it is a 90 EMA but not an A+ setup just because of this very long wick. That's why I did not take that. Tesla eventually had that pullback, but riskier trade, so I did not take that. So yeah, it's okay for you to be very picky, very choosy with your, the stocks that you want to trade. That's totally fine as long as you enter a stock that has a higher probability of working in your favor, then that's good enough. So we only traded 4 stocks today and all green trades. So for now, let's do our recap. So with that recap, let me just stand because my back is killing me. All right, so we had AMD, Baidu, Nike, Apple. Let's look at Nike first, since Nike is our first stock that we traded. So this could have been a one and done if that's too high. It could have been a one and done if I was patient enough to wait for the bigger move, but I wasn't. The reason why I was not patient enough is at the first trade I was red. So that messed up my psychology. That gives me a paper hand because I don't want to be on a losing trade for any of the stock. So that's why as soon as I saw that I am green in that trade, I am up, I was like ready to run with my money. So that's what happened here. So let's look at the 5 minutes and the 15. And let me put in our pre-market data. All right, so pre-market data here. All right, first, well, just doing a recap. So it's 10:30, 1 hour after the market is open. So 1 hour of trading, and we are closing the day with 2,500 and all green trades. So 4 out of 4 is green. And yeah, we only did one short, the rest is a long trade. So good afternoon, everyone. It's March 22, 2024, 10:30 in the morning, and this is Mary just doing a market recap. So for today, what we did was we traded Nike. This is our first trade. What we saw first is we look at SPY. SPY is at all-time high yesterday, having a little bit of a pullback, which is not surprising because if you are an investor, if you are a trader, and you have been riding this bull market, bull SPY for a while, you will eventually have to take some profit. So looks like some of the profit takers step in today, and we do have that pullback. So for our SPY, pre-market high is at 523.08. Let's make sure that you can see my screen. And then our pre-market low is at 521.25. Look at the daily. Daily looks very clear of having that pullback. So with our Nike, which is part of our gap down lists, with a gap down, we are short bias obviously on this because we would like to ride the trend. The easiest trade to take is riding the trend and not counter flowing the trend. So we put in our pre-market high at 108.31 with a pre-market low at this level, 93.83. We are talking about almost a $16 move there. Even before the market opened, I was already calling it out that we are about to break this very strong support and about to form an opening range breakdown. Now, I'm not trading any opening range breakdown for the past couple of months just because what the market is giving us. The market is giving us a very choppy open. So with that, you need to be very sensitive with what the market is giving you and just go with how the market is doing. So with that, no opening range breakout for me. But look at what it did. It broke that support, 93.62, went all the way down here. Now with the 5 minutes, I kept going back and forth the 5 minutes as well as the 1 minute, looking for an earlier entry with a lower time frame. And of course, basing our bias with the daily. Daily is a gap down, so I will short this one at any forms of pop and any forms of weakness. So what I saw with the 5 minutes is we did not trade at the open. First 5 minutes candlestick form, it was a nice move from 93 all the way to 92. Then it retested the VWAP, pushed up the VWAP. But what I saw was this one, of course, was still forming. And the way that looks in the 1 minute is it looks like we're having a rejection. So that's the thing about entering a trade in a lower time frame as well, is you get to have that risk of being or getting chopped. So you have that consolidation above the VWAP. As soon as we went lower than the VWAP, I shorted it there at the below the VWAP, and I got stop out at the high of the day. So with that, stopping out at the high of the day, that one gave me a red trade. So that is the first trade, and I was red at that time. Now what I saw though, and I was calling it out in real time as well, is the volume price analysis that we were talking about, that we are discussing in our class. We have been using volume price analysis in any and in every stocks that we're doing or that we're trading. So what I saw was this big volume bar, right? Look at this volume bar right here, very tiny. Look at this candlestick right here. Candlestick is huge compared to this volume bar that is right here. Let me get my pen. All right, this candlestick is significantly huge compared to this previous candlestick, which has the same volume bar as the one with the bigger candlestick. First anomaly. So that anomaly is, market maker is trying to give you the idea that, okay, this is really, really strong and we're about to push up and this is going to be a long now. But nope, those are just part of the business of being a day trader. You have to know whether that's a legit move versus just a faked out. So here we can say that it is a faked out, but I stick to my stop loss because that is the high of the day. So I got stop out there. But as soon as I get stop out, what I notice is the volume bar, when it's pushing up, is also moving down. We're pushing up, but the volume bar is pushing down. So when I saw that, okay, first anomaly, I got stop out, totally fine. I re-entered that trade to the short, added to my position, because now I do have something to back up my thesis, and that is the volume price analysis. So you give me an anomaly. So one thesis is, we have triple top, first top, second top, triple top. You have the volume bar. So second clue, volume bar is dying when we're pushing up. Big candlestick is bigger than this candlestick when we have the same volume bar. So when I saw that, okay, this is a fake out for the bullish. So I started short, added to my position, and just keep adding there. So to add to that initial entry, and was partialing here. I did not like that it was consolidating at that below that VWAP, because the thing is, below that VWAP, anytime with this consolidation, this can just pop anytime. So I took some partial here. This is what we call having a paper hands, because I am red at this first trade. So with this partialing, already almost break even, and then just trailing my stop lower than my break even. But this is where that mistake happened as well. So what I did was I was waiting for the support to be broken. This is the support right here. So I partial here, waiting for that support to be broken and a potential cover there. And look at what happened here. Instead of covering, I did not press the cover button in my montage, but I pressed the sell button. So that added to my position. So now when I was trailing my stop, that even added to that emotional roller coaster and psychology that, I will not going to be able to ride this one in a longer time, because I was just trailing my stop, because I will not going to let this trade go against me. And that's just what happened. It stopped me out right here at 92.89, and that's the reason why I did not get to capture all of this. So instead of the partial, I added to my short, because I pressed the sell button instead of the cover, added to my position, but I was trailing my stop and I got stop out here. But supposedly I could have managed this one better if this mistake was not there and I did not start with a red trade first. So, but that's okay. A green trade is still a green trade, so was able to capture 626 with that. But again, it's like you cannot cry over spilled milk. So I was looking at that. This could have been just a one and done, because I left, let's see, 92.89 and then it went 91.79. So technically I left $1 in the table, and that could have been a one and done, but that's totally fine. We just moved on and carry on and look for another trade. And that's the time that we get to see Apple. So the time that we exited Nike, that one was 9:50. At 9:50, what I saw with Apple, I was still contemplating on what happened to Nike. I could have done this, could have make it a better trade, but again, just the way day trader works. You cannot capture all the move. You just have to move on. We are still at the market open, so you cannot spend too much time contemplating and having that analysis paralysis when the market is too hot and just too volatile for you to miss another opportunity. All right, so at 9:50, I closed my Nike position. At 9:50, I saw what Apple was doing. So 9:50 here, first position with Apple. Now, at the 1 minute, you cannot see anything at all. Like 1 minute, what the heck is that? But what I saw was in the 5 minutes. That's why we always have those 1 minute, 5, 15, a daily chart there. Once I see something forming in my watch list, which is the one that I showed you guys earlier, where my gap up is on the right screen, gap down is on the left screen. Everything is in a 5 minute time frame. Once I see there's something forming there, I click into it and ready to press my hotkeys. So what I saw with Apple at 9:50 is, look at this nice hammer doji bar looking SPY at 9:50. 9:50 with SPY, there's really just a bunch of consolidation. So SPY is consolidating, but Apple is giving us this very nice setup. And the daily, what I like about daily with Apple, and this is also the reason why we put in our levels before the market opens. In that way, it's clear we already have that setup in mind, and we're just waiting for that setup to form. Is you have a big candlestick yesterday that moved from 177 all the way to 170, and look at this nice support that is happening here. That support right there had been touched a couple of times, close to that wick of this candlestick, close to that body of this candlestick. So we have formed a strong support at that level. And sure enough, that support 170.07 is this wick right here. So that makes it a bit predictable. So when I saw that hammer, I entered long. I was calling it out as well that my entry is not the best, because the best entry here, if I wasn't stuck with my Nike trade, could have been at the body of this candlestick. That could have been the entry. And the entry was above that wick. So given that it's above that wick, I was not willing to have a stop loss all the way down to this wick right here, because that's giving me a bigger exposure of around 40 cents risk, which is a big exposure with the type of position that I have. So I was just willing to have a stop loss just a little bit below the body of this candlestick. Plus, we did have a nice support at that level because of this candlestick. The body of this candlestick have touched that support a couple of times, making that support a strong support. So what we saw is surge of buyers stepping through. And that's also because your algorithm is behind you or is with you. So lower time frame, the way it looks like is, so the setup is at 5 minutes. I entered long, and at that time I was waiting for a little bit of a pullback, but it surged up so quickly that I did not even have the chance to add to my position. So I went up all the way, broke the VWAP, and at the sign of weakness, my stop loss is behind it. So from entry at 170.64 all the way to 171.21, so almost like 80 or 75 cents move there that we were able to capture. Same thing as Nike, did not get to capture all the move, but that's totally fine. At the first sign of pullback, I got stop out before it did the bigger move. So 171.2, 172.54, we're talking about more than $1.20 that we left in the table. Totally fine as well. We just move on. But that is the Apple trade. That gave us a 500 profit there. Then next one is AMD. The last trade that we did was Baidu. So with AMD, just put this time right here so I know what time is it. All right, with AMD, we were able to capture 1200 with this. AMD as well. I was waiting for a bounce. The daily doesn't look too good for a long, just because look at this. Once AMD reached that top all-time high at 228, it just went downhill from there. So with AMD yesterday, a gap to 187 and then 178, and then today it opened close to 177. I was already calling out it will fill the gap, test this resistance right here. It did, and then we had that nice rejection. When I'm looking at the 5 minutes, it's not as exciting. It is not as exciting because look at the wick. So it's not as clean. So the wick is the one that makes it not as a clean trade, but I saw the potential here. So you have your, again, in my 5 minute watch list, you have your hammer right here. Best entry could have been on top of that hammer, which if I can get my pen, top of that hammer, this could have been the best entry. I was a bit late. I was on a different trade that time. So I went long, added to my position. Stop loss is below the body of that candlestick, and first trade got stop out. So that was a loss with AMD. So this trade right here is lost, and that's the thing about respecting your stop loss. You know, you can always go back into a trade once it is ready for that move. So loss in the AMD for a long, but what I saw with AMD is how it is forming a very strong support. So 5 minutes doesn't look too exciting, but let's see at the daily here. So the support that we found there are 175.05. So 175, I know there's like a lot of, let's just take some of these levels. All right, 175.05. So that support right there, it's not really, you know, exactly at this low of this candlestick. But remember that when we trade, that low, you always just wanted to see it as a zone, right? It's not going to be, oh, once it reached this specific up to the penny, it will have that good support. Remember that that's just a zone. So anytime you see in a smaller time frame, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, that there is a sign of a bounce, there is a sign of a reversal, then that is good for a long or that entry. So what I saw here, and you guys can even rewind it, is I went long here because first we do have that zone there that is a strong support, and you can rewind it. I think that happened around, well, we can tell it here. So around 10:10. Before 10:10, there was a big order sitting at the ask, and that's the big clue on why I long this one with add to my position. There was at least 100,000 waiting to get filled on this at this time. So that is waiting to get filled on the ask. So someone is selling at the ask. I know it's counterintuitive, right? It's a seller, but why do I see it as a bullish sign? It is a bullish sign because that seller knows something, that that seller is not desperate to hit the bid and just sell it at the bid, which is a lower price, just because that seller knows that he or she can sell it at that top price. So that means seller is comfortable getting filled and waiting for the orders to get filled at a higher price because that seller knows that it will come to him or her, that price. So that's the time that I loaded up here, added to my long position, and immediately, we did get that pop there. We did have that consolidation. So immediately for me is, in the 5 minutes, we did see that big candlestick already. Of course, the 1 minute still has a little bit of consolidation there, but look at the 5 minutes here, huge pop. So that's the reason why we were able to capture that move. I got stop out at the first sign of weakness, as well as paper hands again, because my first trade was a red trade, but was able to capture this move right here with the add in the position. I was, able to capture a good move with AMD. So with that AMD, let's see, the move that we were able to capture was 175.47 all the way to 176.25. So around 80 cents move, but with a bigger position because of that bigger clue of 100,000 shares waiting to get filled here. So this is what we call as well, what I call as a clue window. You're going to get a lot of clue here. You also look at your tape right here. What is the support that the tape is giving you? It's like a micro window that you get to see. So that's the reason why we were able to capture that. And the last trade is the Baidu, which is just a break-even trade. So look at what this stock is doing. It's part of our gap up list. But when I see a stock that looks like this, just a 5 minute candlestick that already had that moved, 100.25 all the way to 108.67, that move already happened. That train already left, and it will be more enticing if, you have a stair step up rather than just this big chunk of move, because that can be just investors knowing, having an insider tip on what's going on with Baidu, and just also some insider knowing what's going to happen in Baidu and just like dump their share at the open. So with Baidu, since I'm a technical trader, all I see is it's from 105.8 and then just went all the way there to 101. I did called out about the level that I'll be interested in looking at Baidu, and that is this level right here, 101.65, which is 101.65 right there, because that is the low of this candlestick. So look at what happened, and this is going back to the zone that we were talking about. You want to treat that one as not up to the penny, but just a zone. So this is the zone of support, but that zone of support was still broken. So if I can move this one. All right. So here. This is the support that we were talking about, but that is a zone, right? So looking at this, it did consolidate in that level, looking at a lower time frame, trying to see whether I can capture a bounce with this stock. And what I saw was, all right, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, it's not giving me a good, there's not a lot of volume there to begin with. So I started with a small position. 5 minutes doesn't really have a good setup. It's just the daily that I'm looking at. So right there, I know it's just going to be a scalp trade. So I went long at the sign of a bounce. I'm not seeing anything at the bid at the ask. I was saying as well, this is one of the boring trade because of how the order flow looks like. Let's compare it to AMD to make a point. Look at this. You have your tape as well as your level 2 that is constantly moving. Unlike Baidu, which looks so stagnant, it even looks like it's an after or a pre-market just because of the way it's not moving at all. So I went long, added to my position, but I don't see any volume bar to support my thesis. So as soon as it had that moved, this is also one of the anomaly here because look at how big this candlestick is. This candlestick almost just the same size, but let's see here. Look at this candlestick here. Or volume bar. There's no volume bar to support this big move of a candlestick. So I was just trailing my stop loss. So another volume price analysis that's clear here. I was just trailing it above my break even and it just got me stop out. So with that, it's almost just like a break even trade. So with 4 stocks that we traded, we're ending the day with 2,500. It's already 11. I know it took a longer time with the recap today, but just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an explanation why I picked this stock, why I entered, and the psychology behind it. And let's see if we have any more potential trades to do. All right, so Tesla, I was saying it earlier, with this little bit of a pullback, this red candlestick that was still forming earlier, I'm not comfortable shorting this one because of how the daily looks. The daily still has some gap fill to do here, some room to fill that gap, and that's up to 172. So although this is setting up nicely for a short, your daily is unlikely to make it as a short. You still have some room to go there. So if you took this one to the short, that's a very low probability trade, and that's why I did not enter that one. And look at what happened. As soon as it encountered that support, it just bounced right back up. Now, is this a good time for short now, given that it is a double top? I won't recommend that. Again, going back to a higher time frame, we still have some room to go up here, potential for 172. So that makes it a low probability trade. What else? Rivian, getting interesting here with Rivian. So with Rivian, 5 minutes candlestick. Doesn't look like we have some trades happening here. The pushed up. Okay, let's discuss this. When we're pushing up, candlestick is dying. So it doesn't look like this has a potential for a leg up. This can just consolidate and, get choppy, but right now it's not yet on that long bias. I'm not long bias here. So that's Rivian. So yeah, we're ending the day with 2,500. I think I'll stop trading now just because it's a Friday. It's 11 past, an hour and a half after the opening. It's going to be a choppy one. So you don't just want to end up giving up those profit that you had and just paying for a bunch of commissions because you get chopped. So yeah, we're ending the day now. So yeah, for those of you guys who have questions on where to begin on how to day trade for a living, please feel free to check our website out. And in that website, you can see our syllabus. If you're just curious on what day trading is all about, then even look at our blog. We have our recap that we get to post there, and we get to update every week. Our syllabus is there as well. Let's see. So yeah, our recap is there as well if you just want to check it out, and our syllabus is there. Feel free to, if you just wanted to take it at the syllabus, you want to study it, get books from the library, you can certainly do so. But I encourage you to, learn something every day and even learn one strategy at a time and then go from there. Build from that strategy, build from that momentum. So we do add to this content every week. So learning never stops. And if you do want to be part of our day trading community, then we do have that day trading course that we get to offer. And this is no commitment at all. So you can cancel anytime. For monthly access, we have that $99 a month. And for yearly access, we got $596. Again, no commitment at all. For a bonus, we're actually doing a bonus. For the $99 a month, you can actually access all our trading syllabus, all of this, more than 64 hours of our trading content can be accessed with that $99 a month. So it's a big value for, and a big thing that we're giving out for this year for as long as we can. So hopefully you guys get to avail that. The annual, though, will include the Day Trading Unlocked book that we get to published and available in Amazon. The 1 year access as well includes the one-time, one-to-one, 1 hour coaching. So we get to review a trade, we get to give you feedback and how to improve your strategies. And yeah, 2 months free access, and that recorded weekly webinar is there as well. So just for you guys, we are again having this monthly access for $99 per month, and you are able to access all of this syllabus. So why am I a big why do I like trading the most, and when did I start day trading? For those of you guys who are watching, I like day trading because it gives me the flexibility. I am done trading less than 2 hours in a day, and I can focus on, whatever I want to do right now. So now I still have time to do some personal stuff, do some errands, and as you guys have known already, we are also venturing out to real estate. So that's another thing that's going to be coming out really soon is, that real estate investing part. So we're going to be adding some syllabus there about real estate. So for those of you who doesn't know, I do day trading part-time, and I like doing it part-time, and I encourage you guys to do it part-time as well, most especially if you're just starting. The reason for encouraging you to do it part-time is because it gives you a lesser pressure to perform, unlike if you're doing day trading and you're just new, and let's say you're doing day trading full-time, and paying your bills is going to be based on and going to be dependent on your earning for that day. Then that gives you a lot of pressure. And the thing about day trading is it has a big component in the psychology of trading. Psychology of trading can mess up the solid strategy that you have. That's why the three big pillars of trading are the followings. You have the strategy, you have the psychology, and of course the risk management. So if you have that big pressure that you need to perform just so you can pay your bills, then that's gonna not make you stay to that strategy longer, because as soon as you see your P&L up by certain amount, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and run away with that money because that's gonna be my money for me to pay the bills. Unlike if you're doing the day trading part-time, then you can focus on the chart, you can focus on the candlestick, on the strategy, without needing to get that performance anxiety, because in day trading, a big component again is that psychology. So yeah, what do I do when I'm not trading? For those of you guys who knows, I am a nurse practitioner. So when I'm not in my desk, I do, treat patients and do my nurse practitioner gig. I like the fact that I can do day trading part-time and do nurse practitioner as well on the side, just because I can focus on, my passion. So now doing a career in as a nurse practitioner, it's not based on, okay, how much am I getting when I get to see this patient, or it's not about the money now, but it's like, you get that supplements of your finances in day trading and real estate, and then it's just you are doing your passion, not based on how much will I get when I'm doing the nurse practitioner job. So it really gives you that opportunity to look at things differently. It gives you the time freedom, financial freedom, and definitely that investor side of you will start to kick in once you get that consistency in day trading. Because what are you going to do with your profit, right? You just want to diversify your portfolio, and diversifying that portfolio means you want to dab into real estate, and that's what we're into now. So we're into real estate. In the long run, the big money is still in the real estate. So I hate to say that, but burst traders bubbles, but you do need to diversify. The real money is still in real estate, so you do have to diversify your portfolio. But yeah, that's what I like about day trading. You get to have that quality of life. Yesterday I was seeing one of my patients, well actually two of my patients. It's a sad reality that, of course I'm not going to be mentioning her name, but she's like 60 years old and she's a teacher, but not really ready to retire yet because she does not have that financial capacity to retire, and thinking of working until past the retirement age just so she can pay for the bills. And at 60, one can just think of what could have you or what should have happened differently, right? How much preparation could have happened if given that the trading option was there. and you could have prepared more for your retirement. And yeah, it's just a sad reality that now more and more older, supposedly retiree are still working because it's just too expensive with the bills, most especially with the mortgage, most especially the interest rate. It's just getting more expensive. So those are the things that makes me reflect as well, that at the young age you certainly do need to get your finances in the right position. Otherwise, if you start late, then unfortunately you would have to work past through your retirement age. One patient of mine is, she already used her HELOC, or her home equity loan, and she's already 72, already retired, but planning to go back to working because there's just no more equity in the house. And yeah, she's 72. So sad reality is, if you don't prepare ahead of time, you don't want to be caught in that age where, okay, what do I do now? The time is not on your side, and certainly strength or physical mobility and capacity is not there. So while we're young, while we have time to invest in our education, I recommend this, keep learning. My goal every day is to learn something new every day. So what I do, and what you guys would notice, is as soon as I finish trading in the morning, I'll be out in my day trading zone. I'll be stepping away from my computer. In that way, I can do some audibles. Right now, I've been investing time in learning about AI. AI is going to be a very big thing for the upcoming years. It's going to be even bigger than, the internet boom. So I would like to learn that. Learning as well on that investing side in real estate. So, just the goal of having and learning something new every day, I think that would benefit you in the long run. And that's also the reason why we're doing this day trading education, just to kind of like open anyone's mind or eyes who are willing to take that opportunity that it's out there, that there is another way rather than just sticking to your 9 to 5 job. Sticking to your 9 to 5 job is good if you are designed that way, but it doesn't hurt as well to have a side gig, which is, for the most part, those side gig can eventually be the one to give you that financial freedom. Because what we're talking about now is, are you making money while you're sleeping? And that is the game changer of the finance world, is make money while you sleep. Otherwise, you are going to be like a hamster in a hamster wheel, going, just round and round in a hamster wheel, and just doing that 9 to 5 job. And by the time you know it, you're on that retirement age, and you'll look back and where did all those time go through? What did I do with those time? So with that, I know this is a long rant, but just wanted to encourage you guys to never stop learning, and keep learning every day. There is tons of opportunities out there for those who are resilient enough to keep pushing for those dreams. So keep pushing for those dreams, and we'll do this again next time. Sorry for the long rant. But yeah, if you guys have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. For those of you who are asking on what my setup looks like, I recently bought as well a treadmill that I can put under my desk, so I can be more mobile and get those steps in while I'm trading, while I'm looking at the chart. all of that, I'll put it under the link. In that way, you get to see what kind of setups do I have, and the links is gonna be under under the comment section. So with that, if you guys have questions, please feel free to type it under the chat. We'll be happy to go over some stocks. We can analyze some stocks, and if you do have any questions about day trading, about how to have that side gig, then we are very passionate about that side gig, because I just don't see myself, working certain, having that retirement age before enjoying the time. Now is the time to enjoy. Now is the time to travel when we're still young, not when we have those cane walker or anything like that. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys get something from this live day trading. If you get something from this live day trading, I am just asking for one thing. Please subscribe, like this live streaming. In that way, we can spread the news to as many people as we can that there is another way of earning, and that is not just a 9-to-5 job. So with that, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now. And I'm a day trader. So what do you value the most? Is it family? Is it your relationship? Is it health? Is it growth? Or maybe a status? Or maybe a popularity? Is it achievement? Or is it security? Is it fulfillment? Or is it a passion? Is it a relationship, adventure, being creative, being able to do what you want at your own terms, or just loving what you do, exploring the world, giving back, serving? Now the list can go on and on. What's the common denominator here? All of this require time. And if we will spend 90,000 hours at work, which is the average number of hours a person works in their lifetime, then who has the time to do all this? 24 hours in a day isn't coming to an end. 24 hours is all that we're going to get. Now, wish you could have more time so you can focus on what matters most. What would you do if you have more time in your hand? What would you do if money is not the driving force for you to work? What if you have to get up in the morning, not because you have to clock in at work? What if you have to roll out of your bed to do what you love to do? For instance, for you to travel, spend time with your loved one, follow your passion, maybe do a volunteer work. Did you ever dream of reclaiming more time in a day, or ever wanted to start your own business so you can experience more autonomy, not having to report to a boss, and having the liberty to make your own decision or your own schedule? And I am not talking about retirement. Every day, we get a fresh 24 hours to make that decision on how we would spend that 24 hours. Every day, we are in a crossroad. Our decision will determine our future. In day trading, you can reclaim more time from your day by cutting the working hours to less than 10 hours per week, so you can focus on what matters most. Because honestly, for some, that 10 hours is only their commute time per week to work. After all, we all have seen this ad before. So reclaim more time through day trading so you can focus on what matters most. After all, we are all in a borrowed time, so make it count. Click the link below to learn how to day trade for a living. Hi, my name is Mary and I'm a day trader. So what do you value the most? Is it family? Is it your relationship? Is it health? Is it growth? Or maybe a status? Or maybe a popularity? Is it achievement? Or is it security? Is it fulfillment? Or is it a passion? Is it a relationship, adventure, being creative, being able to do what you want at your own terms? Or just loving what you do?